Royal Birkdale, the dunes, the wind, the history. It is Rory McIlroy's kind of battlefield. But something feels different this time. He is not just here to win, he is here to warn us. Rory showed up 3 weeks early. That is almost unheard of for a major. He walked the new 5th hole. He studied the changes to the greens. When Sir Nick Faldo caught up with him, Rory did not just talk about birdies or the weather. He talked about a system, a new system that might just lock him out of this course forever. Think about that. The Open at Birkdale, without Rory McIlroy. It sounds impossible, right? A 4-time major winner, a man who has a claret jug in his cabinet, worrying about whether he can even get back here. But the math is shifting, the rules are changing, and the world's best players are suddenly doing calculations they never had to do before. Rory is not retiring. He is not injured, but the clock is ticking on something far more complicated than a swing change. Is he preparing for a victory lap, or is he bracing for his final goodbye to these famous links? The answer is not simple, and the more you dig into the fine print, the more worrying it gets. What exactly did Rory discover on that early visit, and what is this new system that has him so concerned? Here is my take. This is not just about one golfer. It is about whether the system is eating its own stars. Do you think the new rules are pushing Rory out of the Open? Drop your opinion in the comments. But the real reason he is here early has nothing to do with the wind. It has everything to do with a deadline that is ticking louder than any crowd. That early visit was not just a quick 9 holes before the flight home. Rory walked those fairways like a man memorizing a room he might never enter again. He paused on the 5th tee, staring at the new bunkers and the water that was not there in 2017. He was learning the new dangers. But here is the thing, those traps are not what scares him. The real threat is not buried in the sand. It lives in the fine print. A new set of logistical nightmares has turned his calendar into a hostage situation. The PGA Tour changed the rules off the course. To keep your full card, you need to play 15 events a year. Sounds simple. But Rory is sitting at 9. Just 9. And the season is hurtling toward its finish line. Do the math yourself. 15 minus 9. That leaves 6. But look at the calendar. There are only so many weeks left before the playoffs, and every single one is a war zone for his body and mind. He loves the Open. He loves Birkdale. But the system is forcing him to choose between chasing qualification points at random Thursday grinds and saving his best for the majors that define his legacy. Imagine that pressure. Every tournament director begging him to show up. Every missed event pushing him closer to the membership cliff. That is the warning Rory was dropping to Faldo. It was not a complaint. It was a countdown. He knows exactly how many events he has left. If he gets the math wrong, the consequences are brutal. Now, you might think a guy with his trophies gets a free pass. That is not how this new system works. The mercy rule is gone. The old exemptions are fading. He is staring down the barrel of a calendar crunch that could strip him of his status. And if that status goes, his path back to Birkdale gets narrower than that new 5th fairway. He is running out of runway. And if he falls short, the consequences are not a fine or a slap on the wrist. They are a locked gate. That locked gate is called the last chance qualifier. It is the R&A's new weapon. 12 players. 1 spot, 18 holes. Monday morning, right here at Birkdale. No cameras following your group. No courtesy cars, just raw survival. And Rory McIlroy, the guy who used to walk past these qualifiers without a second glance, is now looking at it like a trap door. Think about the humiliation hidden in that math. If he loses his PGA Tour card, his world ranking will dip. It has to. Fewer events mean fewer points. Fewer points mean a lower ranking. And a lower ranking means the R&A will not hand him a free exemption. They have made that crystal clear. The old champion's invite is drying up. The 5-year grace period is over. The new rulebook is cold and unforgiving. This is not a conspiracy against Rory. It is just the brutal arithmetic of the new era. The tour wants its stars to show up more. The R&A wants a meritocracy. But when those two forces collide, the player in the middle gets crushed. Rory is standing right in that collision zone. He is too big to ignore, but not big enough to change the spreadsheet. Here is the specific number that should terrify every golf fan. If Rory misses that 15-event threshold, he becomes what the tour calls a special temporary member. That sounds fancy, but it is a demotion. It limits his starts. It limits his access to the FedEx Cup. And more critically, It limits his ability to earn the world ranking points he needs to stay inside the top 50. Slip outside that top 50, and you are suddenly checking the leaderboard of the Monday qualifier to see if you got in. Faldo asked Rory about the changes to the course. Rory said he liked them, but he did not say he liked the pressure. He mentioned the fifth hole is now drivable, 300 yards to the front. If you go for it and miss, you are dead. That is a perfect metaphor for his career right now. He can go for it. He can try to squeeze in those extra events. But if he misses, if he burns out or gets injured, he is dead in the water for the majors that actually matter. Now, let us talk about the elephant in the room. The 2026 Open at Birkdale is happening right now. Well, it is imminent, and Rory is treating it like a final exam. He is not just playing to win. He is playing to prove that he still belongs in this rotation, because if he does not win, and if he does not fix his schedule, the next time the Open comes back to this coast, he might be watching it from his sofa. That is the warning. It is not a whine, it is a wake-up call. He is telling the world that the sport he loves is building walls that even legends cannot climb. And if you think I am exaggerating, wait until you hear what happens if he actually misses the cut here. The last chance qualifier has a cruel twist. It is not just for rookies. It is specifically designed to catch the fallen stars. The guys who were once exempt but are now hovering on the edge. The R&A intentionally created this to add drama. They wanted a Monday playoff that feels like a gladiator pit, but they forgot that gladiators get hurt, and Rory is walking into that pit whether he likes it or not. Let us break down the actual process. If Rory fails to secure his tour card, and his world ranking drops below the automatic exemption line, he does not get a phone call from the R&A saying, "Don't worry about it." He gets a registration form. He has to fly to the host city early. He has to find a hotel. He has to warm up on the practice range next to amateurs and club pros. He has to sign a scorecard for an 18-hole shootout where one bad bounce ends his entire championship. That is the future he sees. That is why his voice sounded different when he spoke to Faldo. That is why his eyes scanned the Birkdale dunes like a man saying goodbye. Not to the game, but to the privilege of walking through the front door. The crazy part is that Rory has never been a guy who ducks a fight. He has taken on the LIV guys. He has taken on the media. He has taken on his own swing demons. But this fight is different. This is a fight against paper, against spreadsheets, against a committee that does not care about his claret jug. They care about the numbers on a piece of paper. And right now, those numbers are not adding up in his favor. Here is where we get to the root of the whole drama. The new system is not one rule. It is a two-headed monster. The PGA Tour demands 15 events. The R&A demands a top 50 ranking or a special exemption. But the real killer is this. The R&A just announced they are phasing out the special exemption for past champions unless they remain inside the top 60. Read that again. Top 60, not top 10, not top 50, top 60. And Rory is currently ranked number 2. But if he cuts his schedule to play fewer events, he cannot stay number 2. The math does not allow it. So we are looking at a scenario where Rory might win the Open this year, lift the trophy, and still know in his heart that this is his last ride at Birkdale. Because he cannot outrun the schedule. He cannot fake the events. He has to physically play them. And his body, his mind, his family life, they all demand a limit. He has already told the world he will not play more than 18 events a year. But the new rule requires 15 just to keep status. That leaves almost no room for injury, for rest, for sickness, for anything. This is the dread he is carrying. It is not fear of a bad swing. It is fear of a bad system. And he has chosen Birkdale as the place to sound the alarm. Why Birkdale? Because it is his favorite. Because he knows he can win here. Because the course suits his eye. And losing access to your favorite battlefield is the cruelest thing a sport can do to its warrior. Here is my honest prediction. Rory will play his heart out this week. He will grind every shot. But the real battle starts after the final putt drops. If he wins, the pressure eases. If he loses, the countdown accelerates. And this time next year, we will be talking about whether Rory has to play a Monday qualifier just to get into the PGA Championship. This is not exaggeration. This is the trajectory of the new rules. Just stop and picture that scene. 2027. The Open is at St. Andrews, the home of golf. And Rory McIlroy is standing on a practice green on a Monday morning. His wife is holding his umbrella. His caddy is counting the minutes. 12 other guys are staring at him, hoping he chokes. One spot available. That is what the new system has done to the man who won the PGA Championship, the Open, and the FedEx Cup. It has reduced him to a lottery ticket. That is the warning Rory gave us. He did not shout it. He did not rage against the machine. He walked the fairways, counted his calendar, did the math, and realized he is running out of time. Not time to play well, time to qualify. That is the difference between the old golf and this new, brutal version. So, what is the final verdict? Will Birkdale be Rory's last Open? The answer is sitting right in front of us. If he does not fix his membership status this year, the R&A will not save him. They have already drawn the line. And Rory is standing on the wrong side of that line unless he grinds out 6 more events before the season ends. But he cannot grind. He needs to rest. He needs to practice. He needs to be Rory McIlroy. The sport is asking him to be a machine. He is a human, and that human just used his voice at Birkdale to tell us the truth. The system is broken, and the greatest players of this generation are the ones paying the price. Europe lifted the trophy last year. The crowds were chaotic, but the real chaos is happening in the boardrooms, changing the rules that our heroes have to live by. Rory McIlroy is not afraid of Birkdale. He is afraid of the calendar. He is afraid of the membership desk. He is afraid of a future where his skill does not matter as much as his compliance. And that, my friends, is the real crisis hiding behind the title. What do you think? Is the new system unfairly targeting the veterans, or is this just the tough reality of professional sports? Let me know your take in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on Rory's fight to keep his status, and whether he actually survives this membership cliff, hit that subscribe button right now, because this story does not end at Birkdale. It only gets more complicated from here. For now, we watch, we wait, and we hope that a man who has given us so much magic does not get locked out by a rulebook that forgot how to count. The dunes will still stand, the wind will still blow, but if Rory cannot come back, those dunes will feel emptier, and we will all know exactly who closed the gate.